Hey, what's up, universe? It is 1:43 p.m. on Thursday, July 13th, 2023. So this is going to be about the number 5 and the number 7. I've been talking about doing this video for a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can do this some justice here. The inspiration for this actually came from watching the show Lost last night. And I'm watching the show, and there's a character named Benjamin, there's a character named Jacob. I've already seen the show. I already know and understand its Christian symbolism, and so I was like, let me just kind of dig into this a little bit more, because again, like, I don't identify as a Christian. I grew up in a Lutheran church as a child. I don't remember a lot of stories. I don't have a lot of biblical facts in my mind. So I was like, let me just kind of go ahead and research this a little bit and see what the relationship is between Benjamin and Jacob and other things. Well, going through that process and working with like ChatGPT and just kind of researching this, the number 7, especially in the context of Jacob, if you go to the Wikipedia article on Jacob, the number 7 is mentioned 10 times in the Wikipedia article, at least from my initial search. So I'm just going to go through this and just start to like kind of lay this out. So to put it in the context as well of the beginner's guide to constructing the universe with the number 5 and the number 7, I'll start with that particular context. The number 5 is harmony and balance. It's there's a sentence in here that says the number 5 maintains a single relationship among the parts with each other and to the whole. So basically the number 5 represents a single unit, a single relationship, where the number 7 represents a sequence of relationships. Now, let's put this in the context of the human body, right? The human body is divided into 7 parts, and each part has its proportion, a golden ratio, which is the number 5, which is the harmony. And so a single unit, one of those 7 parts of the body has a proportion. And so 7 also represents a sequence of relationships. As I've mentioned before in my previous video, it is an ongoing process. So the human body being made up of 7 parts, each part having a proportion, which is the number 5, a harmony and a balance, one human being, but there's multiple human beings, right? So it's a sequence of relationships, right? This process is repeated, obviously, billions and billions of times. That's just one example, right? And so in the context of, like, say, the Bible, and again, I don't have a whole lot to go on with this. I just am going to mention how the number 7 was showing up for Jacob, and I can't really tie that into like its sequence of events necessarily, but I'll just kind of like go on and note what I found. And another thing that inspired this video is, like, right before I did this video, there's another text-to-speech AI transcription service called it's Deep something. It's not Deep Mind. I'm pretty sure that's Google, something with Google. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I found it on LinkedIn. There's a person that used to work at Assembly AI that now works for this other text transcription company, and they have this downloadable PDF, and I was going to download it, and I had to submit a form, and on there it said 77 other engineers are interested in this, and I'm like, well, okay, what's up with this? So I was like, I got to talk about this. Like 77 and everything is showing up. I saw the 3 crows again today, just as an aside. And then also right before I did this video, the hiring manager at the place that I just applied for accepted my connection on LinkedIn. So I'm just going to put all that out there. Okay, so back to Jacob here. So there's this phrase of a labor of love, right? So in the Bible, like, Jacob had to work for, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this dude's name. Where is it at? Anyway, I'm not even sure I wrote it down. Jacob wanted to marry Rachel, this woman Rachel, and he had to work for her father for 7 years. And then on the wedding day, he realized he was marrying Rachel's older sister. Was it Leah or Leah? I don't know. I may be mispronouncing that as well. Regardless, the point is that Jacob went to the father and was like, hey, I'm looking to marry Rachel. So he had to work another 7 years and then was able to marry the other daughter. So there's that. When he arrived into the town and met Rachel, the woman that he loved originally, he was 77 years old. This is according to the Wikipedia article. And then when they left, right, when I say they, Jacob and his 2 wives, when they left the town, he was pursued for 7 days by the father. There's also the 7-year famine and the seven days of mourning, right? So I was like, okay. So it's a sequence of relationships. So I decided to go ahead and be like, I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, where does 7 show up in the context of, what did I put it? What was my question? Can you please provide me examples where there is an ongoing process that consists of 7 stages or 7 steps? ChatGPT was like, yeah, sure. It started off with the 7 stages of grief. Now, most of us are probably familiar with the 5 stages of grief. There's a lot of times when I was searching up stuff about these different, verifying what ChatGPT provided me, and a number of them had an alternative being like, oh no, it's 5 steps or 5 stages. And some were like, no, it's 7 steps or 7 stages. And so it's interesting, right? Because it's not that either one is right or wrong, it's just that they might be talking about, like when they're talking 5 steps, they might be like, this is a single instance, this is the balance of one time, one instance, right? So the head is one part of the body, and there's a ratio, a golden ratio with the proportion between the nose and the top of the head and the mouth. And then with your arm, like from the elbow to the wrist to the end of the fingers, right? There's a proportion. So one relationship. So 5 steps or 5 stages of grief, one experience of grief. Yet grief, you may experience, or I may experience grief more than once in my life, right? So a sequence of relationships, right? So that would be 7 stages of grief, right? So because there's going to be a beginning and an end, right? These 2 additional parts, and then the proportion or the 5 stages that we go through. And so I was like, okay, let me see what else there is, right? So not necessarily even just the 7 stages of grief, but there is also, some say 5 stages of writing, or some say 7 stages of writing. And I'm not going to list all of the different stages. I'm just going to list like what ChatGPT gave to me, and you can do your own research about what this looks like. And then there's some say there's 5 stages of film production. Some say there's 7, like the New York Film Academy says that there's 7 stages of film production. There's 7 steps of action planning, according to Penn State. There's 7 stages of new product development, 7 stages of the sales cycle. Some say there's 5 stages of the scientific method. Some say there's 7. And then what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I got there. So I just found that super interesting that 5 represents a single instance and the proportion and the harmony within that single unit. And then 7 is like a series or a sequence of these single units representing a whole, right? So there's 7, like I mentioned, 7 sections of the human body, each having their own proportion. But there's multiple humans, and I don't know what to make of this and how that ties into like the numbers that I was doing in my spreadsheet. I went back to, look at the notes that I had on the days that added up to the number 5 and the number 7, and I haven't necessarily reached a pattern on that yet. I just wanted to mention this really quick, and it seems a little disjointed, I know. But I'm going to go ahead and invite you guys to go ahead and research this yourself if it catches your fancy, and see what that inspires in you. And I just found it very, very curious. Numbers aren't just numbers, you know what I mean? There's qualities to these things. There's a real philosophical, geometric, mathematical, like, reality to it, you know? It's not just some fanciful, like, numerology, some type of thing that people can dismiss, you know. In my opinion, there's a real architecture going on, and it's all around us. All right, that's pretty much what I got. I do also want to mention that a couple days ago, just as a complete aside, unrelated to all of this, I did tell both of my sons. I sat them down, I spoke with them, I was very candid about, you know, what had been going on with me in the dark period of time. I didn't get specific, I didn't talk about suicide, I did just tell them that where I'm at, that I've been feeling pressure, that I had been a little bit edgy, and I apologized for that, and just kind of just was honest with them in the sense of, like, I don't know what's going on with the house, I don't know what's going on with the finances, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I just wanted to let them know because they're a part of it too. And when I moved into this house, I made them a part of that process, and I've already gone through, I'm getting choked up. I've already gone through a long enough period of time of not living with my sons that I needed them to know that I'm working on it, and that there's some fear, and that there's some real uncertainty, and that I'm working on managing that and creating that stability, you know. And I just wanted to let them know, in case anything changes, what's going on. I felt like it was an imperative for them to be a part of that process too, and to let them know. So I just wanted to mention that. That was probably a couple days ago now, no more than 2 days ago. My days are all sorts of mixed up, but I know that it was within probably the last 48 hours or so. But just wanted to put that out there. All right. I have did text my mom just a little bit ago, and that was good. She went to the doctor on Monday. She hasn't been able to taste well since she's been in the hospital. They did an MRI scan, and she'll hopefully hear some news about that on Monday, this coming Monday, when she goes back to the doctor. All right. That's what I got. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for journeying with me. Thank you for giving me some time and space. And I just appreciate the attention and the relationship. So thank you. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.